Hey, good day, good day, good day, everyone. It's Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle focused wealth coach. It's Lifestyle Focus Friday, and you're on When the Lights Go Out. Are you ready? Welcome back. Man, happy Thanksgiving to all y'all. Did y'all get full over the weekend? Did you get full over the weekend? I tell you what, I have my share. And today we're going to be talking about sharing your story. And we'll talk about how this just came about. Something interesting. Sharing your story comes about in many different ways. And you know what? Y'all know how I get down. I do it live. There are opportunities that I run into right before we get on the air. And sometimes it just takes over. I'm going to share with you why telling your story can become something significant. And I'm going to share with you a little secret, how AI helped me to create it. So stay tuned, sit back, relax, and unwind. It's your boy, Ronco Johnson, keeping you company for the next hour and a half. You know the time, you know the place. This is When the Lights Go Out. Are you ready? Hey everyone, it's Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle focused wealth coach. How's everybody doing out there? Good to see you. Good to see you. I know everyone's showing up on the outside. Welcome back to When the Lights Go Out. Are you ready? Today's Lifestyle Focus Friday, and our conversation for today is very simple. We're going to just talk about telling your story and how telling your story can impact your lifestyle, your family, your friends, your business. And if you're new to what we're talking about here, and Lifestyle Focus Wealth, we talk about what millionaires and billionaires do. And one of the things that they do very well is tell their story. You know, everyone starts to repeat it. You hear the Jeff Bezos story. You hear the Facebook story. You hear the Tesla story. What is your story? Is there a moment in time when your story becomes your legacy? And how we can do that? And we're just going to talk about it for today because that's today's hot topic. And I think we need to just have more discussions about how our individual stories impact the world unintentionally. But before we get into it today, I'm going to share with you these tips and much, much more. And I'm even going to tell you a little bit about this small little storyboard that is now taking a shape of its own. And that's right, the superhero in me is coming out. And I want to share it with you first right here on When the Lights Go Out. Are you ready? And I hope you enjoy this segment because it's something fun that I think everybody can appreciate. Anyone can do it. And it's also talking about leveraging your lifestyle, your story, and your financial tools, as well as your AI tools, all at the same time. All at the same time. If you can't tell in my face that I'm very excited about what we're going to talk about today, you should be able to see that very easily. Because I am excited. For no reason whatsoever, I'm just excited. Maybe I had so much turkey over the weekend. So we're going to make it hot. You know, let me set this up before we get started because I want to make sure everybody's in the house and get an opportunity to enjoy what we're talking about. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of those who have come back and all of those that have been following us forever. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing with your friends. And guess what? I need you to do me one thing. Your cost of admission, hit the subscribe button right below. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button, like us, share us, link us, and all the things because the algorithm needs it. And it helps us to continue to provide valuable education for you guys and content for you guys. And don't forget to hit that notification bell if you're hanging out with us on YouTube, because that's how you're going to get information. That's how we're going to square you away. That's how we're going to know that you're available and that you're there. Okay? So I want to just say hello to everyone out there. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I see some of our folks are showing up already. And I just want to say thank you. With a lot of gratitude, a lot of grace. It's Thanksgiving. How many of you had Thanksgiving dinner over the weekend with family, friends, associates, and maybe you were in a different place? Maybe you had to be out of place for the holiday. Maybe you weren't with your family and friends or your family, and you had to spend time with other people for the first time. How many of you had it? Well, you know as well as I do, those conversations around the dinner table can be hilarious. Those stories can be hilarious. Some of the things that you learn from people while you're sitting down breaking bread is amazing. And some of the best concepts, some of the best information, in my opinion, in my days of radio, in my days of hanging out with who's who and gathering content, I realized something. That sometimes life isn't scripted, and the best stories are the ones that you can't make up. Oftentimes during the holidays, I get to visit some of our clients and some of my buddies, and I have this one buddy, he likes to tell me, he likes to show me off to the other family friends and ask me to tell the stories over and over again. And for a while, it just didn't ring true with me why he was interested in my stories so much. Yes, I do have some great stories. I'm sure you do too. Life is full of stories. But one of the things that I can say about those stories is it made people laugh. It made people start thinking about things a different way. And in those thoughts comes a message. And the message is all about what we do with our lifestyle. Our lifestyle-focused wealth is always one of our theme behind the theme, if you will. And that is important for you to understand. Why? Only because we have to have something that we talk about. We have to have something that we talk about that's meaningful, that people can relate to. And sometimes, being a financial expert, we are having conversations about things that people can't relate to all the time. And when we want to make it relate, if I'm talking about dividends, interest rates, savings accounts, leverage, using those types of words, sometimes it just doesn't connect. Well, what happens when you create a story that everyone believes? You know, depending on where you're from, you can always have the story about making Kool-Aid when you were younger. You know, I can tell you the story about having to take around the Kool-Aid, the powdered Kool-Aid, and putting it in a bag. Because where I went to the Boys and Girls Club of America, we couldn't bring drinks into the building. So what do? You bring powdered Kool-Aid, a little sugar, a little powdered Kool-Aid in a bag, and you shake it up, and you have it with you all day. What did they have? A water fountain. You could always get water out the water fountain. You just couldn't bring a canned good to the camp. So you brought your powdered Kool-Aid in a bag, and then you put a little hole in the bottom of the bag, and now you got Kool-Aid. See, it's those little things that we're talking about that just sometimes your younger crew today may not always get that, because today kids are a little bit different. But where I'm from, most of us can relate. You can relate. And there's nothing wrong with trying to relate to a story or two that this makes sense, right? Because most people that had that experience, they can talk about it. Well, maybe I'm talking about a young age. This over the weekend, I'm just going to share with you a couple of things that I've had. I was talking to some clients over the weekend, and I want to make sure that I share this with you. And I'm excited to say this because he's probably watching. He's probably watching. And if you learn anything from this story, please put in your comments takeaways. We're asking you to put the takeaways away today because we're going to free flow today. And we want you to put takeaways down below and make your comment. We want you to interact with us. We want you to be a part of the conversation. And sometimes people ask me, how much of your content is scripted? Well, no, not all of it is scripted. Yes, we do our research and the things that we talk about are scripted. But I've had a long run in radio and television long before I was a financial expert. And I have to tell you, this is a talent and a skill that I haven't lost and I absolutely enjoy. So being able to intertwine the skill of being a radio personality in a personality that can speak in a box for 6 hours over the airwaves in Atlanta to over 5 million listeners on a daily basis, you get accustomed to talking in a box. And for those of you at home looking at me, we're inside of a box right now. And, you know, being able to tie together financial services and AI and all these unique things and then tell a story behind it with a little bit of music, just a little bit of music to keep the creativity flowing. You know, it brings me pleasure. I really do look forward to talking to you guys when I get here on this particular podcast. Why? Because it just brings me back to those days. It really does. It brings me back to those days of our youth, if you will. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So using some of your expertise in many different ways brings us to a conversation. 20 years ago, I had a mentor that I haven't seen, that actually taught me the ways of what has become lifestyle focused wealth. And I got the chance to talk to him just the other day. And for many reasons, we just didn't get an opportunity to speak. And hopefully he's listening today. Maybe he will be. And if he doesn't, hopefully you catch the rewind. But I'm going to start today's episode, if you don't mind, with a story. See, I talked to this man. His name is Rod, and I'm going to go ahead and just say your first name, but I'm not going to put you out there on blast. But Rod was my mentor and coach, my manager, and someone that I learned an awful lot from over the years. And I had the opportunity to talk to him now in his late 60s. And I had to pick on his age because, you know, I pick on his age because we hung out so much that I didn't ever realize there was a gap between us. There is a small gap of years between us. And, you know, when you build a relationship around being in the trenches with someone, as I talked to my former sports teammates about, you know, there's something about those stories. You know, when you go to training camp, those stories. When you're running those extra laps, those stories. When you're on the bus and there's no one else but us, those stories. Or when you're just starting out in the financial service business and you're going on your first 100 appointments or you're making your first 100 phone calls, those stories, well, they last. They last. And the longer that you continue to knock at the door of success, they continue to get better and better because you start to learn from those stories where you made the mistakes. If there was something that I could talk to you younger folks about that's watching this program today, don't be afraid to make a mistake early. Buy into the system early. Go ahead and jump out there and put both feet in. I'm not saying that you go out there and you do things without understanding the risk. You do have to understand the risk involved. I think that's important. Understanding the risk involved is always important. We want to make sound quality decisions. However, getting out there and having the opportunity to make this happen first. Jump into it. Believe in yourself first. I'm going to tell you, when I started the company, Ronco Johnson and Associates, I remember going to the bank and they couldn't give me a loan. And I was asking for a $50,000 loan, but I didn't have the information. We didn't have YouTube and we didn't have Facebook. We didn't have LinkedIn and we didn't have TikTok. We couldn't get the information like we get today by cell phone. At that particular time, wasn't available. The information was there, but you had to find that resource. Do you guys remember that? If you do remember that, do me a favor, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, put it in the comments below and tell me you remember those times when you had to go to the library. You literally had to go to the library. You had to have a black book with a phone number in it. You had to remember those 10 digits to call your grandmother, your girlfriend, your mom and dad. You had to remember those numbers. Tell me how many of those phone numbers you remember right now. Probably not many, because we haven't had to do that so long because the cell phone has our information in it. I remember those times. So I want to say hello to everybody. Hey, Sam, I see you, buddy. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Donna. Happy Friday. I see you, M. Thank you for joining us today. And yes, we are live. But if you remember those days, then you can't forget them. And what we talk about, lifestyle, is all about being around people that you know, that you want to be around, people that have brought you joy, people have brought you stories, people that have created moments in your life. This is what it's all about. That's what Lifestyle Focus is all about. And all we want to do is capture these moments, talk about them, minimize the time at work. We can only talk about work so much. And I was guilty of that in the early parts of my career. Everything was work. Everything was insurance. Everything was planning. Everything, until I understood that people, they want to relate to you. But not everybody's going to work as much as you do. Not everybody. Some of us. Some of us. And your decision to work was your decision. But also, in making that decision, I made the decision that I was taking away from something else. Today, I realized the thing that I was taking from is the most valuable asset we have: time. Time, moments, and relationships. So let me go back to the story with Rod for a moment. Well, I can share with you that I didn't understand at the time how valuable the information I was learning from him was. But I got to talk to him about it. And I wanted to thank him. And I want to thank him publicly, because it's that information that I learned that's helped many, many of you. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, now thousands of people learn the value of properly having financial plans in place. He's the person that we've talked about, that I got it from. Live too long, die too early, or become disabled in between. Your financial plan has to work. It sticks with me just like yesterday. He was the person who told me, every day that you get your commission, take your first $200 and put it in your insurance policy. I didn't understand it then. Until 10 years later, when I opened my own firm and I couldn't get the loan from the bank. Getting the money from the bank would have been the easy route. I remember coming back and talking to Rod and telling him, hey man, I couldn't get a loan at the bank. I've been making six figures. My credit score is almost 800. I don't understand it. Really and truly what was going on is I didn't have the mentoring business to go and formulate my ask at the bank correctly. You know, there's a protocol. There's a certain way that you need to ask before that door opens. Every ask is not the key to the information or the door opening. There is a certain prompt that you have to use. For you AI folks out there, the prompt is important. You put a bad prompt in, you get a what? A bad prompt out. We get a bad prompt out. So we don't want to get a bad prompt out. We want to always focus on getting better at asking our question, right? So I can tell you this, Mr. Rod, thank you so much. And the hundreds of people that I've dealt with over the last 30 years of financial services, for those millionaires that are on my roster, for those business owners that have ever started building your business, to those folks who rock with us on our Lifestyle Focused Wealth channel, who talk to us about financial education in every way, shape, or form, I just want you to give a salute, give a thumbs up. If I've impacted you in any single way and you're watching, put it in the comments. Just say thank you. It's Thanksgiving. I want to give back and I want to pay it forward, but I also got to pay attention to where it came from. It's just like an old school remix. You know, the young guys, they listen to music and they hear it. And you know, you're getting older when the young people tell you that, you know, a song by maybe Jeezy or an R&B record that's out is old school. It's not old school. It came from maybe 3 or 4 remakes before that. And I won't get into that story in just a moment. But I just want to take a moment to salute this man. Why? Because the information and how we build plans and how we structure plans and how we've been able to protect people in guaranteed ways over the last 30 years, from the beginning of my career to the top of the table, I thank you. And I want to say thank you. And so those stories, they matter. They matter. And from that conversation over the weekend, everything just started going uphill really quickly. I want to share with you another story that I have with a guy that became my client pretty lately, and we've just got the chance to spend some time together, and his name is Ray. And Ray has built his business. We've been able to help him set up a corporation. And Ray's a handyman. He's not just a handyman. He's an engineer by trade, but he's a handyman. The handyman that can handle most things. He's done it for years for hotel chains that you know of. And one day, we just sat down and had the conversation, and I mentioned to him how valuable becoming your own bank was. Over a meal, watching a football game amongst other people. And he caught what I said. And it was something really simple that I said. You know, we were having chicken wings and the guys were having drinks. And all of us had to pay for our tab. And while paying for our tab, I just happened to say, you know, what's the difference between everybody's credit card and mine? How are we spending our money? Does it look like it's the same? And of course, everybody chimed in and said, they're all the same. You're using a credit card. And I asked the question, are you earning a dividend on your money that you're spending to buy this lunch? And everybody looked at me kind of crazy. And I said, well, the difference is I'm earning a dividend on the money that I'm spending. See, they didn't understand that what I was saying was I had used this money to fund my own bank, and my bank is paying for my credit card. My credit card that I was using at the time was a business debit card. And you know, you can use the debit card, you can use the credit card. I like to use credit cards. Why? Because I know that if I use it and something goes wrong, I can get it canceled. Secondly, I use it because I know that you're going to get your reward points. And those reward points turn into cash. I like to, my preference is to take the cash and then take it and put it into my insurance policies. Why? Because the cash, it hasn't earned a dividend at all. And I might as well earn a lifelong one. Don't you think? I hope that you're sticking with me. If that's the case, put it down in the chat. Put it down in the chat. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you're sticking with my story. Well, make a long story short, he made an appointment. We made an appointment, and then he became a client. Fast forward, he has a business. Well, over the holiday, I just wanted to do something different. I sent out a thank you card to all of our families and friends, and I started sending text messages, and I noticed that you had Happy Thanksgiving on the text. And I decided I don't want to do that. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I just wanted to be a little bit different. So I created a character. I created a cartoon character, a script, a scripted character that I thought would be neat and funny. I created a super agent, if you will. The super agent, if you will. The super agent, what did he do? It's time for the super agent, Ronco Johnson, to jump into action. And guess what? We created that thing, and the next thing you know, I have an asset. I have something that I can send to everyone that has my company, my brand, my likeness, and something funny that people can relate to. See, it's all about relatability. That's all this is all about. Joining our lifestyle-focused wealth community is all about relatability. Why? Because we all want to continue to put our monies and make our money work for us smarter, smarter, and smarter. The reason why we get together and we talk in our coaching platform is because when you go get coaching, you learn faster. The faster you get there, the more time you save. And then the more money you make. If you're saving more time, saving more money, making more revenue, that's a win-win-win. If you agree with me in that, put that in the chat. Give me a thumbs up on that. And if it don't agree, you're having a lights out moment. You are having a lights out moment. Going back to the story is very simple. We created this character of ourselves, and I sent it to Mr. Ray. And Mr. Ray just fell in love with it. He laughed at it. He says, man, the AI thing, you're going way, you're just learning so much out there. You're doing so much. And from that came the superhero. A superhero named Ronco Johnson, the super agent. And the super agent goes on adventures. And the adventures are real stories of my clients, of associates and people that I've passed on, and how that came about. But what came from it was a short story. The short story that it came out to be was a story where we could talk to Ray and tell Ray about himself and share with him how I saw his partnership with Lifestyle Focused Wealth, and using some language, we've turned Ray's business not from just a trade person, right? We started to give him an idea that every homeowner dreams about and finding in a trade person like a Ray. See, when Ray goes and fixes people's homes for a long time, well over 30 years, he was thinking of it as just going in, then completing the task. And when you're thinking about it that way, you might be missing a piece. You might be missing a piece of the story. So let me frame this for you. See, if I'm the superhero in this story, it's not about just crunching numbers. It's never been about just crunching numbers. We transform lives easily with precision. The precision of a financial planner or advisor is important to us. It's the heartbeat of a community champion. That's what it's all about. You've heard me talk about service before. It's about service. It's about helping people get to where they want to go. And when you think about helping families navigate the pathway to home ownership and wealth building, it's pretty important. If you agree with me on that, give me a thumbs up. That's pretty important. So our approach to lifestyle focused wealth, the philosophy, all about that came from helping other people. And that money isn't about having restrictions in life. That's where I came from. You can't get this, can't buy that, can't go here, don't have money. No, it should be about freedom. See, it's about creating a space of joy. It's about creating security. It's about creating and using intention. These are things that your wealth should be about. That maybe not all of us are learning. And when you start to really put it together, that security is really what you've always imagined in life. And I've learned it teaching families about how to save smart, how to spend with intention, and how to invest for generations to come has been the service platform that I call the superhero. Yes, in my sharp suit and my confidence that I have displayed for many, many years, it becomes part of it. It's becoming part of the persona. But behind it, I've become the neighborhood go-to guy, the go-to guy for financial empowerment. And that's where we don't make promises that we can't keep. You're not going to get rich overnight. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that. We're going to talk about sustainable strategies that actually work. And in those sustainable strategies that actually work, guess what's going to come from it? Your freedom. Your freedom. So as I'm talking to Ray, we're talking about building, right? We're talking about actually building. And why is this important? It's important because every great story starts with a choice. Every great story really does start with a choice. You make that choice. You have a choice. You have a choice. You really do. And the decisions that we make, we got to be careful. We want to make sure they're sound. We want to make sure they're complete. But you have the choice. If you make that choice, guess what? You made it. Make it a choice that you can live with. So I want to share my screen with you for just a quick second. I don't mind showing it to you. Here's the superhero with the builder. It's building homes, building dreams, and building freedom. When we have this conversation, I think this is important. I think this is so important because we're having the conversation about what your legacy looks like. We're talking about something bigger than yourself. We're talking about your choices that you make. It's not just about investing in property. It's not just about investing in real estate. It's about the possibility that's built into that. It's about, are you ready to discover how smart planning and craftsmanship can transform your life? This is the conversation that I'm having with our handyman, Ray. And all of a sudden, our good friend Ray, he starts to think about it a little bit differently. He starts to think about it a little bit differently because, you know, his whole idea was simply just to get the job done. And he had been doing that for years. I'm going to explain that to you. This is my buddy Ray. This is just a good look at Ray. But see, Ray, being that he was having this conversation with me as a coach, it was just one of those things that I really think he's one of those kind of people that you want on your, if I was going to have a tradesperson, you want him. Why? Because he shows up on time, he does the right job, and he treats every home like it's his own. And that's really what you want when you get somebody that's building for you, right? Make me a comment down below. Let me know that y'all still with me. Heck yeah, right? You want that. So whether it's he's fixing roofs, or building a custom fence, whatever it is, his craftsmanship is solid. He makes your house safe. And I was sharing with him, hey, it's not just about that. He's making your house safe. He's making your house beautiful. But see, Ray had a problem. See, despite his incredible skill that he has and the dedication that he's shown, he struggled to communicate his true value. And I'm going to help you here because I'm hopeful that I'm helping somebody else today. And I don't have the music playing in the background because I want you to really, really, really get a sense of what I'm saying. When you don't have the communication skill to articulate your value, and you're just doing quotes and jobs, and you're going from one gig to the next, you start realizing that you're quoting jobs that are really too small or too low. You start underselling your expertise. You're watching the families, you get to watch as families didn't quite understand how much security and wealth you're actually providing to them for the things that you build for them. See, if I look really closely at this photo, and we're going to pull it back up on the screen, you'll notice that the handyman has all the tools. He has all the tools in his bag. So he knew his tools inside and out. He absolutely knew his tools inside out. But the one thing he didn't know is how to talk about the transformation that he created. See, you turn an ugly fence into a beautiful fence. You turn a fallen down home into a beautiful home. What has he created? Anybody? He's created value. It wasn't about change. It wasn't about the change at all. It really becomes a movement in itself, because I was able to spot this situation where replacing a porch, a rotted porch for someone's house, most people see that as repair. I don't see it like that. I see something different. I remember talking to Ray and say, hey, Ray, while I was walking up the driveway, I said, you're not just fixing wood. You're building value. And when I said it, Ray paused. He paused mid-swing of a hammer, and he said, I am? I said, absolutely. Absolutely. You're creating value. So you're making this home safer for these people's grandkids. You're increasing the property value of this home. You're giving the people who live here peace of mind. That's not just repair work. That's wealth creation. If you agree with me, put it in the chat. Wealth creation. Put it down there. Wealth creation. If you're seeing what I'm putting down, let me know. Super agent. Put super agent down there. Super agent. If you're getting what I'm putting down, put it there. Hashtag super agent. It's your boy, Ronco Johnson, your super agent. That's right. So mid-swing, he's asking me this. And I told him, absolutely. He paused for a moment. I think we both realized he had been thinking about his job too small. Because that hammer is not just a tool. It's an instrument for transformation. I see his hammer like I see the instrument of insurance as a transformational tool. It's all about framework, folks. It's all about framework. It's how you see things. Don't be quick to read it too quickly. Start looking for the positive in every story. When you feel like you got a negative, see if you can find a positive. See if we can find a positive in that. Because if you can recognize the value, number one, you can recognize value. And this is where our coaching really begins. And I want to just take a moment to say thank you guys for joining us. Lifestyle Focus Wealth family, thank you for joining us. But this is where legacy really begins for us. It's when we start talking about where recognizing the value in other people, number one, is important. What value did we help find here? We actually helped find that Ray was not just hammering nails. Every board he replaced, every nail that he hammered in, every system that he's upgraded, that was an investment in a family's future. His quality of work compounds over time. It's just like smart financial decisions. Money compounds over time. What do we need most? What's the most valuable thing that we have? Time. But if I can't frame my conversation the right way, the impact to our conversation is impacted. Communication is impacted. See, from our coaching, I think what Ray will agree with me on is that he learned. He learned to speak the language of value instead of "I'll fix your fence." He started having a conversation about, "I'll create a safe outdoor space where your kids can play while increasing your home's curb appeal and your market value." See, being able to communicate that, a person starts to feel warm inside. They know that you have the best mind for what I need. You're giving my home security. You're treating it like it's your own. You're giving my kids a safe place to play. It's not just hammering a nail. So we talked about building a system, building this system together. Our Lifestyle Focus Wealth language, along with your handyman service, let us help you craft this business so that people can understand and communicate with you in a different way. All right? This is the framework. This is the framework. So what do we give? We give education. We talk about delivering. We talk about follow-up. Because Ray wasn't just completing jobs. He was building relationships. Every time he did that thing, whatever that thing is, he's building relationships. And that relationship matters. It's the same for me. Whatever thing I'm doing, hopefully you're watching today's program because we're building a relationship. Whether it's on the airwave, on YouTube, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, we're building a relationship. And it's demonstrating our expertise. And that's what generates future recommendations for your business. That's what builds larger communities. That's what puts eyes on you so people who are influencers today can communicate and monetize their businesses. That's what's different. If you could demonstrate your expertise and communicate it in a different way, your value proposition goes up. And see, here at Lifestyle Focused Wealth, all we really want for you is to increase your value. Increasing your value increases your time. Increasing your time increases your savings. And I just wanted to point out to you and to Ray and to whoever else I'm talking to, here's the blueprint. As he had it spread across a work truck, I told him, I said, "You're an engineer of value. You're not just a handyman. You're an engineer of value." Let's take a moment to stop and think about that for a second. Let's make sure every one of his clients know that he's an engineer of value. Every hammer, every nail, every paint, every upgrade, he's creating value for that family. If y'all like this story, if you like just the beginning of this story, look, it is part of what I call the time is a real treasure. Time is a real treasure. The time that we have on this planet to share with one another, to enhance one another's lifestyle is really, really a treasure. Because if you really think about it, I get to help families feel safe and secure in their homes. We add value. When I'm talking to Ray, I said, Ray, you're adding value by you're helping people grow their home value just by the strategic improvements to the home. And then here's the ultimate benefit to it. You save time. You can focus on what matters most. And I think what's happened is, for me, the business coach, your lifestyle focused wealth coach, here's what is best for me that gets me super excited. Is when our clients start to begin to understand what I'm saying. And something that I've known about most people all along. People don't just buy services, they buy outcomes. The most precious outcome isn't a perfect deck or a waterproof roof. That's not what it is. It's the gift of time and peace of mind. That is the best thing you can get. Well, when we're talking about money matters, it isn't about having millions and millions of dollars. It is about having time. It is about having peace of mind that my bills can be paid. It is about I can pay for college. It is about if I have a medical emergency, we have access to it. It is about I'm having strategies that I can get access to my funds without taxes. These things are important. See, when Ray saves a person or a homeowner from a DIY project disaster, if it's me, that disaster comes from costly mistakes of trying to do it yourself. That's kind of like you trying to do your financial plan on your own. Listen, if you've been around for 50 years and all you have is $1,500, it's probably safe to say you need a professional to help you. And that's quite all right, because somewhere you're making a mistake. He doesn't just fix problems. I don't just fix problems. We're giving them back their weekends. We're giving you back your evenings. There's precious moments with your family that you get to spend because you're not doing a DIY project. And that's the kind of value that you can put no price on. But you should absolutely charge for it. Giving someone that ability to say, here's my value proposition. I'm not just saving them money. I'm not just looking at what they have in their checking and saving in their 401k account. Where I'm a little bit different, the super agent, Ronco Johnson, this is where we're different, is giving them that coaching that increases their value, increases their level of communication to their clients, which increases the business's revenue. And when we're able to do that, along with some tax strategies to minimize their taxes, if they can relay that message to the public, they absolutely should charge for it. If you agree with me, put worth it in the comments. If you think what I've just said would be worth it, if I can help you save smart, spend with purpose, and invest for the long haul, is that worth it to you? Because our philosophy, our lifestyle focused wealth philosophy does just that. It's transformed people, and then allowing people like Ray to partner with us and to use our lifestyle focused wealth philosophy in his business. He's helping to transform entire neighborhoods. And I had to think about that differently. He's doing something that Ronco Johnson can't do on his own. But by using our philosophy, I feel like I'm putting the hammer to a nail, because he's teaching everybody he impacts, everybody that he talks to, He's taught families about that wealth building that he's learned from us. This community, our lifestyle focused wealth community. We're at the helm of his work. So it's not about having the biggest income in the world, but it is about making every dollar smarter than the last one. So as he's going out and doing his job, as he's going out saving the world, the one thing I can guarantee you about this, I can guarantee you that Ray is out there talking about smart savings. Save smart, building an emergency fund that protects your peace of mind and prevents debts from spiraling out of control. Why do you have to have the emergency fund? Because in a tornado, if the roof gets damaged, you need money to be able to pay for it. And if you have financial reserves like cash value insurance, where we can borrow from, pay for our situation, and pay it back to ourselves without taxes and always earning a dividend from the company for the rest of our existence, that's not a bad idea. But for those people who are spending their money right out of the checking account, not giving their money the opportunity to build for themselves, they're having a lights out moment. And we know that. If you're spending money at the gas station, you're having a lights out moment. If it hasn't passed through some other vehicle before you spent it, you're having a lights out moment. And this is the beautiful thing about our lifestyle focused wealth deal. They want to know what millionaires and billionaires are doing. Every time they earn a dollar, they never spend their money. They never spend their money. Earnings on their money. First of all, in communications, we don't consider that their money. That's earnings. Their principal is their money, but the earnings are just that, earnings. Hopefully I'm helping somebody out there today. If you're learning something today and this has been of value to you, put value down in the chat. Send us, hey, look, catch me. Send me something online to let us know. Let our friends know. Hashtag value, hashtag lifestyle focus. You're liking what we're talking about. I want you to subscribe to our channel. If this is a storytelling moment that you actually like, let me know. Put it in our DMs. You can find me at roncojohnson.com if you want to sign up for one of our coaching sessions, or if you want to even get in alignment with what we're doing at Lifestyle Focus Wealth, please let us know. Why? We want to help you build. We want to help you build. And we're doing it in many more ways than just one. We're doing it many more ways than just one. Because when we talk about spending with purpose, every purchase that you do should move towards your goal. It should, not away from your goal. So you got to ask, does this add value to my life? Does this add value to my property? Is this financial plan adding value? Because if we start investing for the long haul, which is what millionaires and billionaires really, truly do, whether it's home improvements, retirement accounts, or education, or playing a long game, compounded growth wins overall. It's the wealth's superpower. That's what it is. It's time to compound. And it works the other way. Let me add the power of AI. If every dollar is like a seed, then the money spent needs to grow wisely. The money saved carefully multiplies, and the money invested strategically transforms into legacy. See, AI is a compounding factor as well. It's compounding, you get the information out there faster. The faster you can get it out there, the more revenue you can get quicker, the more time you're still saving. See, my superpower is that I realize that I'm still in the same business, no matter if I'm talking to you on air, talking to you over a financial plan, or sharing with you how to automate your systems using AI. It's still the same. We're increasing your revenue. We're giving you tax strategies that minimize your taxes. And we're creating strategic, transformational skills that create your legacy. Hey, that's my time today, buddy. Hopefully I'm resonating with somebody today. If we're doing a good job, it's about celebration. This is all about celebration because in 6 months, I'm telling you, for those folks who know this person, Ray, or you've been a client of ours and you're watching this program, the transformation in you from the time we started to now is remarkable. In about 6 months of time, Ray's business is going to double. It has doubled. And it's not because he's working twice as hard, but it's because he's communicating twice as effectively. Homeowners finally understand the value that he's bringing and where they're happy to invest in his quality. Same thing with our practice at L.R. Johnson and Associates. Our advisors, they're doing more work because people are lining up to sit down and talk to our advisors because they're able to communicate complex planning strategies in a clear, concise way. And it makes things a little bit easier because your clients understand that they're investing time, money, and resources into the value you bring. And in Ray's case, all the properties across the neighborhood that he's put fresh paint on or sturdy repairs to, guess what? His thoughtful upgrades have brought peace of mind. It's made kids a safe place to play. They all have new fences in their area. The gardens look great. His families have got gatherings and they have reinforced decks so they don't have to worry about the decks falling in. But most of all, the home. The home values quietly climb over time. Stronger home, smarter finances, connected community. What are you missing? When the lights go out, you must be ready. Every repair that Ray made, he's completed a safer home. He's added more value. And it's beautiful to see. Now I'm watching this person that I have had the wonderful, wonderful opportunity to coach, help other people and help other families save more, and have less stress, and then plan for their futures. So when he's connecting the community, when people invest in their homes, they're investing in their future, and they also are investing in one another. So that's why I say we need to have a block party. It needs to be a block party so that we can celebrate, not just for the visible improvements, it's for the invisible ones, the ones that happened in you. See, this gives me peace of mind, financial confidence, and a sense of possibility. And I hope that you want to become part of our stories too, because this is all I'm doing is building legacies, and I love it. And I'm hopeful that this conversation today has helped somebody else start a lifestyle-focused block party. Because if you ask Ray, he'll tell you. He stood up and said it with confidence, with a steady voice, very confident. He's been transformed. And he'll tell you, I used to think I was just fixing things. But today, when he looks around, he talks about his new business that he controls, and he's looking around at the faces and the families that he served. He was doing much more than patching roofs and replacing boards. And I'm honored to be able to say that I've been the person that he gives credit to for teaching him something that has changed everything. I'm hopeful that this story helps to change some things for you too. Because you can get emotional watching someone else do the work. But all I wanted to do in life is give someone the opportunity to give back the way they saw it and the way they see it, along with some little bit of a nugget, a little bit of a seed that I could plant. I'm not fixing things, I'm building legacies. Every home that he's working on becomes a little more valuable. It becomes a little bit more secure. And those families don't mind spending the money. Why? Because he's communicating his value. And every family that he serves, they get to spend less time worrying about how they're living and more time on what are they living for. That's not construction. That's transformation. And that's what makes us important. So I stand side by side with my buddy Ray. Why? Because he's allowed me the opportunity to see my value and just working with them. And that's what happens when you plan with purpose and when you recognize your value and when you start helping other people recognize theirs. You don't just build homes like Ray said. You build dreams and legacies. And that's what this thing is all about. And the wealth that you create isn't just measured on dollars. It's measured in peace, security, and the joy of helping others that you know. You don't want to do this thing by yourself. So let me just end with this for today. No chaser necessary. No chaser necessary. We're pretty straightforward in our approach. Here's the question to you. Are you ready? You don't need a cape to be a superhero. You don't. But you don't need superpowers to transform your community. You don't need that. You need three things. And I'm speaking in an analogy. You need three things: a hammer, a plan, and a heart for hope. That's what you need. That's all you need. And if you got those things, you see, your hammer is a tool of your trade. So whatever you may be, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a tradesman. You have skills. You've honed them. You're an expert. Be an expert. You've earned that, the right to call yourself an expert. Value you. We're talking about the value you deliver. And if you've been doing it for a number of years, let's talk about how we can help you restructure your plan. Let's talk about how being a part of our coaching platform can help you strategically think and start thinking about ways that turns your good work into great outcomes. So, hey, listen, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. When the lights go out, are you ready? This is Ronco Johnson keeping you company this weekend. And I hope that you have a solid, I'm going to call it a continuation of your Thanksgiving weekend. For all of those that are out there hanging out with us, thank you so much for checking in. If this has been moving for you, as it has been for me, I hope that you will do me a favor. Go down below, hit thank you, hit subscribe, and check out our book. It's going to be a fun little book that I'm going to have out. It's coming soon. Look for Adventures of Super Agent Ronco Johnson and his good handyman Ray. And I look forward to making more short stories like this one to share with you. And hopefully, who knows, you might be in our next plan. So stick around. Hey, join our Lifestyle Focused Wealth community. Membership starting at $16 a month when you pay the annual subscription. So register online today at www.lifestylefocusedwealth.com. Hey, listen, I'm Ronco Johnson, your Lifestyle Focused Wealth Coach. And thank you guys so much for joining us today. If this has been moving for you, don't forget, put a like down there. Let us know. Send me a DM at roncojohnson.com and be helpful. Hey, be impactful. And guess what? It's all about who you know, what you do with your time. And remember, your legacy is being built one way or another. It's just how they remember you. Hey, thank you. God bless. And I look forward to seeing you next time at the top. That's my time. I'll see you next Friday, 1 o'clock, right here on Lifestyle Focused Wealth. God bless. And when the lights go out, are you ready? See you next time. Peace.